Staff Sergeant David Mace spends a lot of time riding the trails around the mountains near Aviano Air Base.
Apparently, I went into some state of shock where I was just staring into the walls, and they said...
Leticia Mace has good reason for her fears. It was just over a year ago that her husband, Sergeant Mace, died after a biking accident.
I looked back to make sure my son was okay, but by the time I looked back on my jump, I was already going twice the speed of what I was supposed to, and it was already way too late.
And when I saw it, I just kind of frozen. Like, I didn't really know what to think. I kind of just stood there and stared.
On the second impact, both of Sergeant Mace's elbows were broken. His wrist exploded, his broken ribs pierced his lungs and ruptured his liver and kidneys. On the rescue helicopter, he flatlined and was put on life support.
As I sat in the ambulance and waited, and I heard the helicopter paramedics talking to her and letting her know that he had little to no blood pressure.
With traumatic brain and spinal injuries that left him paralyzed and in a coma, the doctors gave him a 1% chance of survival. Even if Sergeant Mace did survive the surgery, the medical staff warned his wife that he would be in a coma for 6 months, and if he did wake from that coma, he would never be the same.
His bed was the very last bed in an intensive care unit because he was the worst, so they had him the furthest away from every other patient. And I remember walking in and seeing his toes wiggle.
Staff Sergeant Mace beat the odds. He woke up from his coma 3 days later. Emerging from the coma was only the first step in an arduous and some say miraculous recovery. For someone who'd been so energetic before the accident, Staff Sergeant Mace now found himself relying on others to do the things he'd taken for granted.
And I remember I tried to go up our stairs, and I remember my dad carried me. I think I got a couple steps, and my dad carried me up the stairs, and he tucked me in bed, put me in my own bed. I'm 30 years old, put me in my own bed.
It was difficult seeing him go from really good to really bad.
I went back to work in January, started trying to figure out how to jog again, how to just do everything all over again. I kicked the pain aside and just didn't stop. Just kept on trying to go further and farther and faster and push harder every day.
Not even a year after the accident, the man that doctors predicted would not survive or would remain in a vegetative state for the rest of his life was back on his bike. The same trails that nearly took his life are now a reminder of everything he'd overcome.
I went back up to Piancovallo and I re-rode that exact place where I fell. I'm not terrified of it anymore, but if you face what you're scared of, you'll get over it. You will get over it. And then you'll just learn to respect it.
Senior Airman Roman Weber, Aviano, Italy.